Because as much as we may know about LinkedIn, there's always a query about what's the population, what are the numbers. And this is just a snapshot of some of the key markets in Africa and what the numbers are in terms of membership on LinkedIn. Our growth has been very exponential in the last 3 years. Actually, let me even say the last 2 years. We're having a member joining every 2 seconds. And that has meant that more and more professionals are on LinkedIn and they're looking to engage with you, the brands, and you with the individuals, whether you're talent or employers. There's so many things that a business can do on LinkedIn, and I thought I would focus more on the business for this session. LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to be able to present your business, your services, what you offer to prospects and potential target audiences on LinkedIn. And there are various ways that you can engage this audience. With the content that you put out and the engagements that you bring onto the platform, you're able to build your brand and reinforce your reputation. You can create awareness of new products and new services and ultimately generate leads. You can be able to build your brand within the right context of who your customers are. And for those looking to recruit, you can also attract new talents, either by putting out the jobs or presenting the business as a great employer. There are different strategies of executing this. However, today I want to focus on growth marketing for business on LinkedIn. There are 2 ways to use the LinkedIn platform. You've got your organic opportunity, which is basically using the tools that have been made available for free on the platform. And then you've got your paid solution, which would require that you put in some media budget or some form of investment. And these tools have various features. So you've got your, on the organic side, you've got your pages. You can create a personal profile page, you can create a company page. There's no additional, there's no cost to that. The resources that you put in either as a business or as an individual. You can build thought leaders in form of the business leaders that you have who have great skills, capabilities, experience, and insights about certain topics. You can further engage with the kind of content that you put out. And you can also engage with the different groups that have been created on the platform and host events that target specific groups or the whole LinkedIn population. You've got the tools and the features that you have available on the paid side of the platform, and this enables you to target audiences based on objectives. You're able to narrow down based on the personas that you've created. There are different products and features around advertising on LinkedIn that you can take advantage of. We've got some great tracking tools that will give you insights into every phase and step of any campaigns that you learn, and a lot of analytics. So I'm going to now just focus more on what these strategies can be and how best to take advantage of them. Now, when you think about growth marketing, from a general perspective, it's all about tying the whole experience of the customer from when they first know about your brand to when they finally buy your brand, and not losing them at that loop, and ensuring that you keep them in the cycle to either resell or to use them for referrals or to get them to buy something else from your business. Now, unfortunately, we find that sometimes we do understand the whole marketing funnel and we understand the business, but we do not tie that journey all through. So I want to address that from both the organic side of the platform and from the paid side of the platform. The first step to start as a business is your company page. This is where it all begins. You have to create a great first impression. And to do that, once you create a page, you need to complete the page. So we find that a lot of businesses, as they're creating their company page, you might find maybe they don't put their location, or they don't update the cover image to reflect whatever key communication that they're putting out. You want to make sure that that constantly is in tune with all the other communication that you're having out there. That way, you do not lose a customer in the journey. You don't want them to come in and see that your cover image is reflecting a campaign that you ran last year. And yet on ground, when they see a billboard or when they see an advertisement post, it's got a whole different communication. So it's not just about creating the page, it's about what content are you putting out on it, and is it current and relevant to the activities that the business is carrying out. When you also create the page, you want to build a strategy on how to keep the page active. When you're building content for LinkedIn, it's a little bit different because you need to switch your thinking to the audience that you're speaking with. Remember, the audience on LinkedIn are professionals. So when they come to LinkedIn, they come in with a professional mindset. They're looking to learn, they're looking for insights, they're looking for opportunities. So how is what content you're putting out feeding this need to your audience? If you build the right content for your audience on your company page, then you get an audience that will be constantly engaged and that will value you as a business and continue to connect with you. You want to look at the different types of content that you can put on the platform. Yes. When you think of the funnel, not every piece of content is the best for that phase of the funnel. You want to create content that's very specific to the different phases so as to be able to take advantage of the investment that the target audience is putting in, while at the same time for you to get the most value out of the content you create. We find that sometimes, maybe based on resources, we can only put out simple posts, which is a graphic and a piece of text, or maybe a video and a piece of text. But we already have a lot of existing content that we're not taking advantage of. Think of your company profile. Think of your company brochures. Think of product videos. Customers to look at all the assets that they have as a business around their products, around their services, and around any communication content that you have created to support your business to drive revenue. We also have the opportunity on the organic side to engage employees and get them to be advocates to your company page. We find that employees have 10 times more followers than a company page. So if, say, as a company, you put out a piece of content, it will be served to the audience that you already have following your page. But if you get an employee or your employees to reshare this content, this employee might have a community of their own, people they've worked with in the past, suppliers they've dealt with in the past, who are in their network, who will then see this piece of content about your business. So you want to build a way of getting your employees to also reshare the content that you're putting out. We want to look at how can we also encourage our employees to engage with the company page. Are they also putting out their own content which the company page can reshare? Are there certain pieces of content where you can actually tag an employee to add value to that content or to add value to that point of view or insight? Can we also engage our top executives to give some insight and to add some value to the content that we're putting out as a business? That way, we are fully taking advantage of the organic opportunity based on the community that we already have and the resources we already have as a business. There's also opportunity for us to engage the business leaders. And I feel that, especially in our market, we're still not doing it as best as we can. We have business leaders at different levels who have specialized in a particular area, and we're not tapping into that capability that they have to get them to share those insights and that point of view that adds value to your business and your product and get that shared on the platform. We need to look at how can we get our business leaders to contribute to our engagement on the page. Can you have the business leaders tagging the company page? Can we have the business leaders putting out certain content that's relevant to the business, relevant to a service or to a product? Business leaders or thought leadership drives a lot of trust in an organization, and it also enhances the brand reputation of a business. So there is ultimately value, and there is an existing strategy on how to build thought leadership as a business leader, but I will not focus on that today. It might be a bit too much for this session. All right. Well, you've created your page and you've put in the right content and you're engaging. You want to look at who is actually following you and what are they engaging with. You want to look at this audience that you have, what content are they engaging with? That way, then you know they're interested in this key area X or key area Y. And then based on what your product is offering, you can then build tailored content to serve your audience. If you're not giving value to your audience, then it's unlikely that you're going to generate the best value that you would like to. So what you want to do is understand what is your customer looking for, and what are they interested with, and what are they engaging with. And there are tools that exist within the admin side of the platform that enable you to see this. We've got your hashtags, we've got your trending hashtags, you've got your content recommendations, all this still available on the organic side of the platform. Then look at what call to actions are you providing. Are you encouraging your audience to either go to your website? Are you encouraging them to maybe try a product, sign up for a demo, request for a consultation call? You want to look at what are you driving in terms of action. That way you complete the loop. You just don't want to serve content. People see it, but they don't know what to do next. Make the customer journey easy. Monitor everything that's happening on your organic content, because then that way you're able to know what's working and what's not working. We've got visual analytics on both the organic side and the paid side. So look at that and see, where are your audience coming from? Are they all from Kenya, or are they from different markets? You want to know, how often are you growing your followers? Are you getting more followers beginning of the month or towards the end of the month? What are you getting more clicks on? And all this then can be carried to enhance the strategy that you have. Now let's switch to the organic side. Once we've created content, remember, on the LinkedIn company page, once you put out any content, that content, the algorithm of the platform pushes that content to your followers. Why LinkedIn works that way is because there's a belief that the person who's chosen to follow your company page actually wants to know what you're doing as a business, what you're offering as a business. They want to understand more about what you're offering. So if you have 100 followers, any organic content is served to those 100 followers, assuming they're all active. The LinkedIn algorithm works towards serving all your organic content to all your existing followers. However, when you look at the number of followers that you have versus the audience that exists on LinkedIn, remember, 2.8 million. Look at the number of followers you have on your company page and think about the fact that there's 2.8 million audiences out there. Granted, they might not all be your audience, but your audience exists in that big number. You need to look at ways to target them. And how to target those people who are not following you is when now you put in advertising towards it. Because then we're able to build campaigns that can target those people who are not already following you and serve them the same message that is being served either organically or any new message that you want to push out to your organic followers. We've got different assets that enable us to reach these customers in terms of advertising content. We've got your sponsored content type of ad formats, and this can be a single image, it can be a video, it could be a carousel or a job ad for the talent side of the business. We also have messaging, and our messaging service is very unique in that, unlike, say for example, when you're sending out newsletters, once you click send on a newsletter and you have a database of 100, all your 100 emails go out. On LinkedIn messaging, when you're sending out an email or a conversation ad, this ad is only served when a member comes online. So when we're running our message ad campaigns, they take a period. It's not an instant click and done. It could take a period of up to, depending on what the budget is, it will take some time to deliver because it only delivers on active audiences. And even when it comes to collecting reports, we collect insights even past the date of the campaign, because it might get served and someone will see that, but they are not focused on that right now, so they might react to it or react to the call to action a week or 2 weeks after the campaign has ended. So even when it comes to capturing engagement in your message ads, is something we have to keep in mind. We also have some additional formats which also drive different objectives on the platform. We've got our dynamic ads. These are the ones that sit on your extreme right panel, where you can see your face matched with a company logo. We call them dynamic ads. We've got our text ads, which sit at the top. We've got our event ads that drive subscription and attendance to certain events, whether online or offline. And then we've got the talent tools. Now, when we're running ads and you're amplifying, we always encourage experimentation. And even as we experiment, we encourage that let's take this data and leverage it to optimize as we go along. What are we experimenting on? Let's experiment on the assets, the ad formats. So is it a video is doing better? A static image is doing better? There's always an assumption that videos will do better, but you find that with LinkedIn, it actually depends on the product and the brand, depending on the message they're putting out. We could generally say, yes, testimonials do great because the professional wants to do business and buy from businesses that have people who look like them, who have experiences that they experience. So testimonials are great when it comes to videos. But have you experimented with product videos, demo videos, or service videos, and then, your case studies? Different type of copy. Let's experiment to ensure that you're getting the best experience and the most value out of the platform. Let's also look at the audiences. We've got quite a range of ways of targeting customers on LinkedIn. Let's try and test out and experiment with the different audiences. And I will go through the audiences that we have on the platform. And then we've got campaigns. Let's experiment with durations of campaign, the budgets that we're putting in, and the different ad formats. Not every campaign requires a big budget. Not every campaign will work with a small budget. So let's experiment and let's find out what's working and what's not working. I thought I'd look at the audiences just a little bit to help you understand how we do our targeting or how we reach customers who are not already following you. When a person creates a profile on LinkedIn, there's certain information that they give us, which is what we call first-party data. You'll connect to the company you work with. You will indicate the duration you've been working with that company. You will follow other companies. You will say your seniority in that business. You will state your skills. And even some of this content gets endorsed by the community. So this data, as we're collecting it on the platform, then we're able to, on the back end of the campaign manager side, target individuals based on that. So when it comes to planning and experimenting, we always say, first define your persona. If you are not able to articulate who your customer is, it becomes very hard to define who your target market is on the platform. You should know maybe what income bracket are they in. Do you know what size of company they work in? Do you know what years of experience they have? So all these things then enable us to develop campaigns that deliver great results for your business. We do have other ways of targeting, which would also be a good comparison. We've got website retargeting. What our Insight tag does is that, say you've got this campaign that you ran a year ago, and it drove audiences to your company page, and people consistently come back to your website. Well, these people are coming to your website, and you have the LinkedIn Insight tag included in it. We're able to match those audiences to their profiles on LinkedIn. What that does is that you can then use this audience to retarget them if you have a new product or you've got a new activity that you want to have 1 year later. And we encourage that you do that even when you have active campaigns that are running, so that you're constantly building audiences. And the platform enables you to create as many audiences as you need to, so that when you're reinvesting over time, you're not starting from scratch. You shouldn't always have to start from scratch because, starting from scratch can be expensive. So you want to try and ensure that you're capturing these previous audiences and carrying them into the next step. Then we've got email targeting or email contact targeting. One way or the other, as businesses, we are constantly collecting email addresses. Yes, there's the whole data protection conversation that needs to happen. And some of it, I believe, that is already being implemented with a lot of businesses. Now, when you have these contacts, and maybe they're your existing business contacts that you've collected with consent, then we can take these email addresses, upload them on LinkedIn, and match them with an audience that you can then target. So if, for example, you ran an event, say, for example, like this event, and we've got X people who walked through the door, we can take this audience and remarket to them on future events or future products. So think about it that way. There's opportunity to use the contacts that you already have as a business. Then we've got account targeting. And I think for me, this is my favorite, I would say, targeting strategy for any business. This is where account-based marketing comes in. As a business, there are companies, especially your B2B businesses, there are companies that you work with or you've worked with in the past. So you know the company name, and you have certain people within that company that you're engaged with. So I'll take an example of, say, an SAP or an Oracle partner. They have certain businesses they've worked with, and maybe they have an upgrade of a solution. So you can actually compile this list of company names. We will upload those company names on the LinkedIn platform, and we can then target them with a particular message. Let me give a different example. Think of a bank. A bank has partnerships with certain corporates to facilitate accounts and payments and loans for their employees. A bank could say, I have these 20 companies that I already have partnered with from a business level, but their employees don't know the services that we are offering or what's available to them now that the business is a partner. You can take this list of companies, upload them on LinkedIn, and then we target the employees of this company. And that way we are able to deliver better and to the right audience. We're not targeting everyone. We're being very specific on who we are targeting because one part of the sales has already been done. So we're trying to help the brand close the loop in terms of revenue. Then we have your lookalike audiences. And this is basically when we upload a list and we then recreate an audience that looks like the people in that list. To a certain extent, the people you connect with are a true reflection of who you are. So then when we're creating lookalike audiences, we're using the profile that we already have, this persona that we already have, and we know they're a customer, and then targeting those within their first level of connection. And of course, we'll layer on the other necessary targeting criteria. So if, say, for example, you're targeting Nelly, and you want to target Nelly's community, and you just are very specific, you just want to target anyone who's at director level plus, you're able to do that with lookalike audiences. Then we have some other layers of targeting that exist within the campaign manager. One is interest-based, and this is based on the intent that a member shows when they're on the platform, based on who they connect with, the content they're consuming, the kind of engagement they're having. So some examples like science and technology, finance and the economy, and there are many. So this is something we can definitely share once you're running your campaigns. Then we have custom segments, and these ones are defined by the LinkedIn algorithm. There was a research that was done, I think about 5 years ago, and what they did is that they predefined an audience, and then they put in certain triggers to be able to identify the audiences that fit in this category. So for example, like your business travelers, some of the triggers that exist in that target audience or in the algorithm to get this target audience, I say, for example, if your IP, your computer IP or your phone IP changes in terms of territory, then that tells us that you are in different territories, and that means that you could be a business traveler. Of course, there are also other parameters. Say, for example, how often is your IP changing? Is it changing more than twice within 3 months? You know, so these are some that they only exist with the campaign manager through the partners, and this is because they're also audiences that are still being refined over time to build critical mass and then be made publicly available on the campaign manager. So there are a number of them. You've got your business travelers. There's even domestic travelers. You've got audiences like mass affluent. You've got audiences like recently relocated, career changes. So there's quite a number of them that would then be available to you when you're running campaigns on LinkedIn. So you want to experiment on the targeting to ensure that you're getting the most value. And then finally, you want to look at insights. There's no point in spending money running a campaign and you don't take those insights and learn from them. What's working and what's not working. Our biggest challenge usually, especially for LinkedIn and for us as salespeople for LinkedIn, is that the cost of advertising on LinkedIn is much higher than on other digital platforms. That's one. Number two, our benchmarks are also much higher compared to other different platforms. So if you're not experimenting and you're not testing to see what works, then you're not unlocking the true value. I'll give you an example. If you're running, say, for example, a lead generation campaign targeting the real estate audience. So you've gone through the funnel, you've done your awareness, you've driven your consideration, and now you're generating leads. The platform benchmark, and this is based on other people's campaigns and every campaign that's running within the country, the benchmark is $30 per lead. But you find that based on the testing that we're doing and the optimizations that we're doing or helping clients to do, we have clients who are winning leads at $1. So you need to experiment to try out and see what's working and what's not working. Another example would be the education industry. The benchmark for that is $26 per lead, but you find that you're getting clients who are winning leads at $4, between $15 and $4, because they're willing to experiment, they're taking the insights that they're getting out of that, and they're building on that. What do people want to know about your product? If you're looking at, is it the video you provided, a static image, an article, and look at what are people engaging most with. And then you take that one that they're engaging most with and you build on that. Then over time, you start bringing your costs down when running campaigns on LinkedIn. And this then ultimately feeds into your revenue. So your cost of acquisition keeps going down and your revenue keeps going up. Let's experiment and let's keep track. And then last but not least, but I think this is the big one. Considering the fact that, you know, marketers want salespeople to ensure that they're following up on every lead and doing their best to close the leads. We still have salespeople who are asking marketers to bring more quality leads because they feel like the leads that they're getting are not quality. There's this constant fight back and forth between marketing and sales. And then bring in leadership, they're also concerned about the cost we're spending. Are we actually generating ROI? Are we measuring? Where's the value? Now, if we don't bring all the teams in, then it becomes harder to optimize. If you're not looking at the whole journey of the consumer from the moment they connect with you at the awareness level and join the dots all the way to when they are served or they buy the products and there are closed accounts, and then ensuring that they stay in the loop either by referencing or by becoming an advocate or by coming back to buy again, then you've dropped the ball in as far as growth marketing is concerned. So you've got all these things you need to look at, but it needs all the people within the business that take care of the different levels of the service of the product to participate. As much as I do appreciate that marketing are always responsible for everything marketing and it starts and ends with marketing, there's importance in bringing in all the others, because look at it this way. If we bring in the leaders for thought leadership, that builds the brand reputation, which means that when you're running the campaign, then people are more responsive because they already have trust because they've been seeing the business leaders. So you're able to close faster and close at a cheaper rate. If you're looking at, say, if you bring in your customer service team who basically gives after-sales service, if they're actually doing what they're doing, then that customer becomes a great advocate for your business to help you generate your new clients or your new, to start off the new funnel with some new customers for you to convert. To close us off, the LinkedIn vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the workforce. There's various services that are available on LinkedIn, not just the marketing, which I've gone into depth with, but we've got our LinkedIn learning service that enables people to upskill, whether it's staff or you as an individual. We've got the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which enables you to connect with prospects who are not within your network. And then we've got LinkedIn Talent, which then helps with everything to do with attracting new talent, getting them into the funnel, getting them to apply, and closing them as the new talent within the business. And we have the LinkedIn mission, which is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. We want to connect everyone in the world, and that's where LinkedIn fits in. You do not have to only connect to the people who are in your office, who are in your space, who are in your country, who are in your region. You can connect to just about anywhere globally, and you can unlock value from people not just within your small space, but as far and wide as you would like to. Thank you very much. Might you have any questions? All right. Maybe someone can help with the mic.
Thank you, Nelly, for that. I always learn so much from you. Who would you say is doing it right, either globally or locally?
So let's start with, I know it's always unfair to always feature Safaricom because they're big everywhere, but I will point a couple of things. They're not doing everything right, but I'll point out on a couple of things. Their employee engagement is amazing. When the company page puts out content, their employees share this content. The recruitment, I'll call them the HR team, I think that's the right word, are doing a great job of positioning them as a great employer by featuring some of their employees. You've got the business leaders putting out content and building thought leadership, which ultimately builds trust. right? That's an example. If we look at, say, for example, Fanaka, it's a real estate company that's selling pieces of land, very affordable, mid-level. They're doing a great job of featuring and promoting their assets and the products that they have. So that's one to look at. Look at NCBA Bank. They're doing a great job of having videos. They're doing videos. Their leadership is doing videos, or they've been doing, where they speak on certain products. So for example, if you go back to their company page, in the last 3, maybe 6 months, I could be off a bit, they've done a session on mortgages. They've done a session on financial planning. They've done a session on insurance. So they'll have a live event, which they will drive engagement and subscription for, and then they will host the event. They may not host it live on LinkedIn, they might host it on Zoom, and then they'll break that video down into little nuggets of value and reshare that on the page. And as they're doing that, they're educating, they're driving consideration, and then they're generating leads. So I can't tell you one specific in Kenya that's doing all of them right, but those would be some good ones to pay reference to. And I'd be happy to put together maybe a list and share with the deck at the end for certain businesses that you can look at and certain elements to look at. Another question? All right. I shall assume that you're all now LinkedIn specialists. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to stop me. But let me also introduce you to the rest of the Kenya team. Wajera, Charlene, please stand up. So closer to me is Wajera Karaoke. She's a relationship manager, also supporting the East African market. Then we have Charlene Murira, also a relationship manager supporting the East African markets. We'll be here for the whole week, so please feel free to stop us, ask questions, or book a meeting. Thank you very much.